Media. The Chaldean historian Beroes from the 3rd century BC wrote that the dynasty that ruled Elam before 2000 BC was Media. Elam is one of the sons of Sem in Israel. In the Old Testament, the area west of river Tigris on its lower coast is called Elam. The Sumerians called this area Haltam and the Greeks Elymais. This province did not always have the same space, but mostly refers to lower part between the rivers and Susiana. When we talk about Elam, at the time Beroes writes about it, it also refers to Vardunia. The Beres Media dynasty is Nino's dynasty. The Media tribe was the main Aryan tribe that left Europe for Asia. This is why Bede speaks of the people of Japhet, that they stretched from Media to Gibraltar. In the Old Testament, Madai, that is, the Medes, are depicted as one of sons of Japhet who appear from Europe in Asia. The Old Testament and Assyrian record says a lot about them, since they were the main Aryan tribe in Asia. In one damaged record from the time of Hammurabi, the beginning of 18th century BC, some people in northern Vardunia are mentioned and Manda is mentioned, that is, the Medes. The ship is Nebrod is connected with the Medes who conquered Babylon, about which Beroes writes. Manda is also mentioned in records from the time of Emperor Sargon I, son of Nino, and in all later times. Many scholars have dealt with Medi and Mayani says Bilabel means Manda, Nesiti. Nesiti are Serbian tribe from Asia Minor. Forer sees them in a ruling caste of Mitanni, and the Cimmerian Teushpa is called the warrior Manda by Assyrian Emperor Asarhaddon. Digdamesh is for the Assyrians the king of Manda horde, and for the Greeks he is the Kimmer. Albright presupposes Tydiel, king of Goim, to Yaharabi, the leader of Manda. Thus these Mada or Manda are one Indo-European mesh from which the Nesiti, Mitanni, Kimmeri, Medi, and at least in part the Scythians emerged successfully, also the group of Kentum, Hittites, and Satum, Mitanni. Not only Aryans from Media and Ariana, who also appeared in Mesopotamia, are called Medes, but also various tribes from Asia Minor, including Cimmerians, who were in Asia Minor and above the Black Sea, and from there went west all the way to Britain. It is obvious that this is a well-known phenomenon, and that the people of the Middle East who knew Medes well identified with them other similar tribes, members of the same people. So the Romans called the Illyrians all Serbian tribes in Balkan Peninsula. This does not diminish the importance of Medi in the slightest, but only proves that they had their compatriots in a very wide area. The geographical distribution of the Medes from the Old Testament, not those in Asia, but the places of their origin in Europe among the sons of Japhet, caused a lot of difficulties to all testators. Still, it wasn't that hard to solve. Let's look again at Alexander the Great and his famous speech before the army in India. Explaining what he had achieved until then, Alexander says, Orsus a Macedonia imperum Graeca teneo, Tracium et Illyrios subedi, tribalis medisque imperito. Starting with Macedonia, I hold power over Greece. I conquered Thrace and Illyria. I command Tribals and the Medes. This means that the Medes are neighbors or close to tribals, and in any case within Alexander's empire they stretch from Danube in Europe north and to the river Bosnia in the west. Bears should be sought at that area. The man who came closest to solving the question of origin of Medes was a learned Englishman from the 16th century, Joseph Mede, as if because of his last name he was destined to solve that question. Having carefully considered the distribution of Japhet's people in Europe, he came to the conclusion that there was no other place left for European Medes than Macedonia. Mede noticed that one province in Macedonia called Aematia in Greek and Latin. Greek writers say it was previously the name of a country later called Macedonia. Mede says that the Greeks added the prefix ae and turned the letter D into T, and that the real name of this country was Madia or Media. Mede says, if anyone questioned how ae come in, I could ask him likewise how Eu comes into Euphrates, which the Hebrews and those of Mesopotamia call Perat, or how Ae into Aegyptus, which themselves and their neighbors the Arabians call Kupti, or how Ae in Ethiopia, which some think to be called of Theops or Theophi. It is not an unusual thing in a changing of name out of one language into another to prefix a vowel or diphthong. Aematia, the land of Madai. On the same place, Mede also adds. Aristotle mentions one country called Medica, up to Paeonia, and among Romans there was prefecture of Medic. Isocrat mentions some Mede, king of these parts. Greeks call European Medes Madai, and those in Asia Medians. Edward Wells, referring to his great predecessor Mede, says, there is one tribe in Macedonia which is called Medi or Moedi. If we take into account Macedonia of Philip the Great and Alexander the Great, which had a border on the Danube and included Srem, then Moedi or Moesi are really one tribe in Macedonia. In Roman times there was Upper and Lower Maesia, and that name remained with the medieval Serbs. The Upper Maesia, or Maesia in Moravian Serbia, and the Lower Maesia in land between the Old Mountain and the Danube, modern northern Butar. The old writers started Maesia from the northern border of Macedonia, from Radovish and Berovo to the Danube. In the middle of that media is the area of Serdi, with the capital of Serdica. That is modern Sofia. Serdi and Serdica are nothing but Serbi and Serbica. Now we can draw a conclusion. The Medes are Serbs, in fact one large Serbian tribe that made up majority of Nino's army during the conquest of Asia. That is why we said at the beginning that Bak, that is Nino, set out on a campaign to the east from Serbia and not from Greece, as could be understood from Arrian's writing. Accordingly, Bak returned victoriously from India to Serbia, where he left from. Since Macedonia was created as a state at the end of the 9th century BC, and since as we have seen, it was previously called the Media, we cannot say that Nino left Macedonia, which did not exist yet. It's now clear to us where the customs among Serbs to celebrate Bak's triumphant return from India come from every third year. This is why Alexander the Great knows Bak's campaign so accurately. It's clear why the Greeks opposed this and tried to question it all.